Have you noticed that in CS2 you can do the right team play things and the match still turns into pure solo survival? You give info, you ask for a trade, you call for a flash, you smoke the timing, and you get silence. Then you're left in a 1 versus 3 and someone hits you with the classic, "Why didn't you carry?" That's what we're talking about today. I'm Dale, and in this video, we're breaking down how Valve effectively lowered the impact of team play in public matches, why coordinated play rewards you less than it used to, and why solo players suffer the most. We'll go through the real reasons, and I'll finish with practical rules for winning solo even when your team play doesn't exist. Let's go! First, we have to define what team play impact even is. Team play isn't everyone go B. Team play is when your actions create an advantage before the gunfight starts. It's trading. You don't swing for a highlight, you swing to guarantee the trade. It's information, not he's somewhere, real info. How many, where, moving where, with what. It's timing, not 5 separate solo fights. One coordinated pressure point in the same second. It's utility, a flash that pops for the swing, a smoke that actually cuts the sightline, a Molotov that forces someone off the spot, and its roles. Who gathers info? Who entries? Who supports? Who watches the flank? When all of that works together, even an average team can beat better aimers. Because the winner isn't always the person with the cleanest shots. It's the team that creates fights that are easier to win. And since we're talking about team play, let's be honest. In matchmaking, your team is often 5 solo bosses doing 5 different things. On GGDrop, at least the plan is simple. You're the captain, and the bonus actually shows up. Promo code FTASG gives you an extra 11% on your top-up, plus a free wheel spin. So you deposit, instantly get more value on top, and you get an extra shot at a solid drop. The first reason team play feels dead in public matches is painfully simple: random teammates. One game, you get someone who understands trades and timing. The next game, you get someone playing like they're the only person on the server. And the problem isn't just bad players, it's a lack of synchronization. Team play requires shared tempo, shared priorities, and a shared language. In solo queue, you usually have 5 different languages. One player loves to hold, another only runs. One thinks it's an aim duel simulator, one stays silent all game, and the last guy gives the call after he's already dead. In that environment, team play doesn't just become weak, it barely has time to exist, because coordination needs repetition. A few rounds where people do the same thing the same way, but in solo queue, every round feels like a brand new team. And that's where the solo player suffers most, because you're trying to play Counter-Strike like a team game, while the match forces you to play it like survival. The second reason is simple: public matches rarely have leadership. And I don't mean long speeches or IGL lectures. I mean micro plans that take 5 seconds. Stuff like, flash for me, I swing, trade me, don't peek alone, hold mid, all clear cat, smoke CT, molly default, we hit. Those short calls turn chaos into structure, but in matchmaking, you usually get the opposite. People stay silent, or they call things too late, or they try to command in a way that makes everyone mute them. Without microplans, team play doesn't activate, because team play isn't about everyone being smart. Team play is about everyone knowing what to do right now. In solo queue, someone has to step into that role. Most people don't. They don't want responsibility, they don't want toxicity, or they assume no one will listen anyway. So the team ends up without a brain. You have hands, guns, and effort, but no simple plan for the round, and everything collapses back into individual aim duels. The third reason is the one people don't like admitting. Most players don't have attention for team play anymore, and it sounds funny, but it's real. In public matches, a lot of people play half present. They're in Discord, they've got YouTube in the background, they're exhausted after work, they're not playing a match, they're spending time. So even good calls fail. You say, don't peek, and they peek. Not to troll you, because they're already on autopilot. The fourth reason is utility. In public matches, utility almost never works like a team tool, even though utility is what makes team play powerful. Ideally, grenades are a script. A smoke cuts the sightline. A flash enables the swing. A Molotov forces someone off a position, and the team moves on that timing together. But in matchmaking, it usually looks like this. Smokes get thrown just because. Flashes get tossed somewhere. Molotovs get used just in case. And the biggest issue is this: nobody ties utility to an actual team action. People don't say flashing in two, they just throw it. And your teammate is either not ready, not there, already dead, or doesn't even realize what happened. So utility stops being a coordination tool and turns into visual effects. And without real utility usage, team play collapses. Because in CS, you don't consistently take space with raw duels. You need to cut angles, block lines, and create safe entries. That's exactly what happens the least in solo queue. The fifth reason is how people think about rating in Premier. In public games, a lot of players aren't playing to win the round. They're playing to not look guilty, and that changes everything. Instead of trading, they protect their stats. Instead of taking the risk for a clean trade, they fall back so they don't die stupid. Instead of helping a teammate, it becomes, let him deal with it, I'll just hold my spot. That's how team play dies. Because real team play sometimes requires you to not look like the hero. Sometimes you have to go first and die so the round becomes winnable. Sometimes you have to give space, give info, give the entry. But in a rating environment, people don't want to give anything. They want to be the guy who later says, I dropped 20, you all did nothing. Premier makes that mindset stronger. The match turns into an ego scoreboard. Who fragged? Who carried? Who owned? And teamwork starts feeling unprofitable. Because team play doesn't always give you pretty numbers. It gives you wins. But in matchmaking, ego often beats winning. This is exactly why solo players suffer the most. Because solo players often see the correct play, but they can't force the team to play it. You know you need a trade, but your teammate doesn't swing. You know you need a flash, but nobody throws it. You know you should slow the round down and gather info, and your team is already dead one by one. And the worst part is this: solo players pay for the team's mistakes with their own match. You can be consistent, you can give calls, you can throw the right utility, but if 4 players are each playing their own Counter-Strike, your correct decisions don't scale, and then the trap kicks in. The solo player starts playing selfishly too, because it feels like the only way to survive chaos. They stop waiting for trades. They peek first. They start playing for kills instead of the round. Because if you don't create impact for yourself, no one will. That's how matchmaking breaks teamwork. Not through one patch, not through one number, through an environment where team play rarely feels rewarded. And solo players suffer not because they're weak, but because they're alone trying to play a team game. Alright, what do you do as a solo player if you want wins, not suffering? 5 rules. First, play off the one teammate who's actually doing something. Find one functional player, stick to them. Trade, double swing, retake together. 2 people is already a mini team. Second, don't ask for team play. Ask for specifics. Not flash me. Say, flash window, I'm swinging. Not help. Say, hold my long, I'm rotating. Third, don't try to play the round alone on the opposite side of the map. Solo hero plays rarely pay off in matchmaking. If your team is weak, your job is to be close enough to secure trades. Fourth, use utility in a way that works even without communication. Smokes that cut sightlines, Molotovs that force positions, flashes that actually blind, utility that creates advantage by itself. Fifth, only take risks that can win the round. Don't peek out of pride. Don't try to prove something. Your goal is to win the round, not win an argument in your head. These rules won't make matchmaking perfect, but they will make your impact consistent. That's how teamwork sometimes appears even in random games. Not because everyone got smarter, but because you made the play simple and clear. Here's the real conclusion. Valve didn't sit down and plan to kill team play, but they did create an environment where team play rarely happens naturally. 5 random players, different habits, different tempo, minimal communication, and rating psychology, where everyone is terrified of looking like the reason you lost. So teamwork doesn't disappear, it just becomes rare. It shows up when you get lucky with teammates or when someone steps up with micro-leadership. Solo players suffer because they often understand the correct play, but they're playing inside a system that rewards chaos, ego, and rushing. So if you want wins, don't wait for perfect team play. Build a mini team with 1 or 2 functional players. Use short calls, follow simple rules, and use utility in a way that works even without communication. That's how CS2 becomes a game you control, instead of a game you simply survive. I'm Dale. If you want, next episode we'll break down another real pain point: how to win solo against a stack when they have comms, timing, and trades, and you have randoms. Drop a comment with your solo queue experience. What actually works for you, and what tilts you the most? For now, that's it. Wishing you nothing but absolute banger games.